Alright, hello everyone. Today I'm just going to be detailing some things that have gone down regarding Shitty Sary Never Clear. As most of you probably know, I verified it a couple days ago. This is the 10th 2 days ago when they first started looking at it. And they complained, they gave me 7 screenshots of either, unnerfed, pixel nerfed, buffed, sections that are basically the exact same and are hindering the level. And I'm just going to talk about all of them really quickly, because it's obvious they didn't play it at the time. I don't know if they've played it since and changed their opinions, but if they haven't, I need to make this. Yeah, that's basically it. What I'm going to do is I'm basically just going to jump into the shitty version, jump into the regular version, and I'm just going to directly compare them both. This is just me playing them all through, just talking about them. I've done this on stream, but I haven't done this in a video, so I'll do it here. Here are 2 copies. I could re-get them if you don't believe me, but it's literally just the same level. Like everything is the exact same. Now what? I'm just gonna recopy this. Actually, not true because I have this set up, so I'm not gonna. I built this. This is what I changed. Other than that, the rest of the level is entirely untouched. You can grab a copy yourself if you don't believe me. I guess. Sure. But we're just gonna start at the beginning, and I believe the beginning would be this section here. This is at 47%. Let me just go snag that in here. And this section actually is nerfed. These saws are not nearly as close to the orb, as you can see. If you actually look, the saws are moved down quite a bit. You see, look how deep I am in the ground there when you do the click. You don't have that at all. You're just dead. These are down like 2 or 3 pixels. This is also not here, and this is also moved up, which makes this first click easier. So I guess that makes your transition less harsh. I guess that's if you're going to count that as the part, but I think they're more specifically just talking about these orbs. So I'm just going to discuss those. Now, I'm just going to put a start position right here, actually, just because these clicks are the same thing, pretty much. I could just talk about both these parts at once. But, yeah, let me just go do this. As you can see, this is an unnerfed top 10, and if you want to try to pretend these parts are like that, I did nerf that click. That it's still nerfed. I nerfed that, and I can do it consistently, which is I find it interesting that you complain about this because it's consistent. It's nerfed. It's nerfed, and it's still consistent in the original. These are the other clicks that I was doing, which I also nerfed. I will show both sides of those. First, I just want to switch over to, I believe it is in rules. I don't know exactly which one it is, but I know it is somewhere in here. But they mention that I'll have to, is this this isn't like list stuff. This is just Discord rules. Yeah, I think it's it's standards, isn't it? Yeah, it's in standards. Let me look. Okay. Here it is. There we go. Thank you very much. Unnerfed sections are allowed as long as the section that is unnerfed is generally classified by everyone as an easy free part. It is an easy free part, and I still nerfed it. This just shows you haven't played it, because it's like I don't know if you can how you can pretend this isn't just easy free. With a tiny bit of practice, you can get incredibly consistent here. It's insanely consistent. This is an easy free part. Just play it. Just play it, and it's easy free. Yeah, so those two are both just easy free parts. If anyone who's actually played the original Sary Never Clear would know that. So, I don't know if they have done that, or if they haven't, but if you do, well, you'll figure that out. What else do we have going on here? This. Okay, well, let's talk about this one. This one needs talking about. Because this is one they just haven't played, I think. Or at least not then. At least then they haven't played it. They might have now, but then they did not. Because, I can't do this part. It's so hard. You see how it basically works is you have to just hit all the orbs. But this first one I nerfed. I moved this down, if you actually look. I moved this down. They don't show it, but this is moved down. These are moved up, and I changed the click pattern to be timings and not spam. And I changed it to be timings and not spam because the spam is absurd. It's absurdly hard and inconsistent. If I were to try to do this, I would have to do a double click there. Because I just am not fast enough. And even then, it's still disgusting. Yeah, so I'm just going to play this for quite a bit and see if I can ever do this with, like, spacebar. But, almost got that. I actually did get the spacebar click off. But you can see that this is, pretty inconsistent. It's kind of insanely hard. This is just something that, if you look at it, doesn't look that much harder, I guess. But when you actually hop in and play it, you realize that it is not the same level at all. I don't think they're even comparable. These sections are absolutely just entirely different. I'm gonna go play the shitty version so you can look. Yeah, but I actually just can't do this part. It is just so hard. I literally just can't do this part. So let's jump into the shitty version and my, oh, wait, is this conveniently here or not? Maybe not, I'm gonna replace it. And as you can see how much lower this is now. And there you go. And then you get a nice, pretty consistent click pattern. This first click is still pretty hard, but it is nerfed. Every other click is pretty much easy. At least much easier. If I can, there we go. Yeah, but you can see, this is 1000% nerfed. This is not the same. This is much, much, much easier. These are moved down, these are moved down, these are moved up, these are moved up. I made much more space. These clicks are just much more lenient than the original pattern, but also much more consistent and much less luck-based. So this is just not the same. This is just nerfed. This is unnerfed because changing the orbs doesn't change it, but changing the orbs does change it, and I nerfed the spikes and the sols anyway. So this part here, okay, let me take a look here at this real quick. So if you want to take a look, okay, you might say this looks pretty buffed. I mean, you look at this. Preview it off. Okay, there's the sol. In the original, let's go back. Let's go back to the original. Sorry, never clear, and let's just take a peek at that section right now. So if you go here, you look at it, you're like, you move the sol up, you buffed it. But no, I didn't buff it. There was invisible spikes there, and I removed them. So yeah, this is just not buffed actually, because there's invisible spikes there that you don't see. They just didn't look in the editor yet. But yes, this is just spikes. I could play this, but there's really no point to. You can obviously see that these invisible spikes are going to be harder than this singular sol that's not even at the level of these. When these invisible spikes are above the level by quite a lot, actually, if you look. It's like 3 or 4 pixels, so. Yes, if you want to say this is buffed, you just haven't looked in the editor, because it's not. That's nerfed. And I don't even know if it's that hard. I've never played it like this. I thought invisible spikes was just really dumb, so I just removed them instantly. Let's take a look at another part. What is the next one? Let's see. This part, okay. This is another free and easy part, and I'm just going to play it in the original. This is the exact same thing, where all of these clicks are just buffer clicks pretty much. Every once in a while you die, but it's pretty easy to avoid if you just take a look at where your ball is in the click pattern and compensate with like a slight hesitation. This is one of the easiest parts of the entire level, I would say. Yeah, so this is just a part that is not nerfed because it doesn't need to be nerfed. Not much else to say here. There, I just should have hesitated. I should just look at the screen. Yeah, but this part really just doesn't need nerfs at all, actually. This is still one of the easiest parts in the shitty variant. It's still one of the easiest parts in the level. Yeah, so this is just another section that falls under that easy, classified by freeze everyone. Because it is. If you play it, it is. I think the next part we talk about is this one. Yes, this one takes a little bit of explaining. So if you look, there's no spike there. These spikes are all scaled down and the orb pattern is changed. They're like, okay, that's not that nerfed. And now I have to go and explain why it is. Because the orb pattern is changed because this one doesn't always work. How this one sometimes works is if you click at the high point of here, you can just miss this and hit this, which is just bad. You can hit this and hit this and hit this because you keep spamming and go up and die. This is just a very inconsistent pattern. I actually played it a lot when I was playtesting, and it took me a very long time to find something that was consistent, actually. I spent probably 1,000 attempts just playing from like 0 and dying here and being like, oh my god, this doesn't work. Like, I have to do something about this. So I eventually did, and I settled on that, and I pretty much never die. What makes this part harder, though, is this spike. And you might say, well, that's just an easy, click, click. But it's really not just an easy click, click. And I have to explain why up here with some wonderful just teaching you ball physics. Because a lot of people, I don't think you think about this. But if you look at my line, when I'm falling, it's much less sloped than my line when I'm coming down into something. This is the coming down line. It matches up. I just clicked it. But this leads me to my next point. If you actually look at it, it's not always the same. You're clicking either like here or like here. It depends on your click. So you have to actually think about that, react to that, because it's actually different, and you have to be able to understand that. So that just adds more inconsistency, as well as the fact that you're coming at a faster angle, like a harsher angle. So naturally, it's going to be harder to time something because you're moving by it quicker. It's similar to like if I'm at like minus speed, that's just like horizontally. This is just vertically. Like traveling vertical distance faster, it's gonna be harder to time something. You can recreate the same thing with slopes. You could do like something like this, where if you want to time something going down, that timing there will just be harder than this one here every time. Because this one here, you're moving at a less harsh angle, so you'll have more frames to click within the window, because you're not traveling as quickly. Here you're traveling more down faster, but here it's even more, it's the same concept, except you have more time to react, so it's not as hard, but here you don't have more time to react, so it even is different. But you see what I mean, where you have to click up and then down, and they're coming down into it, as well as the spikes being scaled, as well as the orbs being fixed to be consistent. This is just a part that's very nerfed. I would go play it, but it's just going to be another bunch of me dying, but I'll show it just because I think that's necessary, I guess. I also just can't see shit here, actually. So let me just delete these so I can like look at the level. Let me just go through and actually like, just so that I can see what I'm actually doing up here, so I like know where to be clicking and such. Because actually, the fakes are removed, so you don't have to worry about the fakes. That's another thing you just get to ignore. Yeah, but I just stripped some deco so that I can play this without looking like an absolute buffoon. Just a mostly buffoon. Well, I have to make this farther this way. Does it just work, or I don't know if that just works. I'll move it one more here, and then this should work. All right. But yeah, this is harder. It's not that much harder, but it is definitely harder. I'm just gonna play them both a lot so you see. Like, see what I mean? Where sometimes you go up and then you click because you're trying to spam and you thought you'd hit this, but you didn't. That's just the click. That's just the orbs being placed poorly by the creators. Just bad click, just bad placement. They just place it in a way where it's very consistent. These spikes are a pain in the ass. I'm just dying a lot, actually. Yeah, this is just really hard, actually. I don't know if you could tell, this is quite difficult. That was last, the death I had no end was me trying not to do the double click because I thought I didn't hit this, but I did. It just gets absolutely gross. And that's pretty much it. This is just absolutely disgusting. This part is just so much harder. I'm gonna go play the shitty version now so that you can see the comparison between the two. Yes, this part is actually very nerfed. You just have to play it. This is just another, like, play the level, and you'll figure out that it's actually nerfed, so. I don't know if they've done this. They might have done this by now, but in case they didn't, I'm gonna go through, and I'm gonna play them both, just to show a comparison of their difficulty. Why did it do that to me? Okay, well, the editor makes sense. Yep. I love how when I clicked start, and then it started me here, and then when I clicked play, it started me somewhere completely different. And as you can see, that one is just entirely consistent now. The spikes are scaled. You get to fall off and time it. The spikes just barely kill you. They're like literally non-existent. This click pattern is consistent pretty much every single time. I could play it a ton if you guys really want to see it a ton. I don't think I have to play it a ton, but I will just in case. As you can see, this is just much easier. This is just a much easier part now. Yeah, this is just incredibly nerfed. So yeah, if you go back and you play both side by side, just like I do there, you can see this one is a much easier version than the original. And these are the last two screenshots we have. This is the first and second memory parts, which are gameplay-wise unnerfed. Visibility-wise, let me give you. They are unnerfed gameplay-wise. If you go to the wonderful editor and you turn on preview mode, you can see that this first one is about as visible. There's really not that much blocking your visibility. I mean, these, I guess, slightly darker, slightly buffed, but it's pretty much the exact same. Here is not pretty much the exact same. You actually just can't see anything. You can't see your cube, and you can't see how you line up on the blocks. This part actually is harder just because of how much less visibility you have. It's just very hard to see what anything is there. But it's still not hard. Gameplay-wise, I'm just going to play through, starting with this. Once you learn the pattern, it's just free. I almost just want to attempt the entire section here that they complain about being too hard, so. Yeah, once you figure out the timings here, they all just get very consistent. The visibility here really isn't as much of a big a deal as it is in the second part, but it is still hindering. I'm going to keep playing just a little bit. You can see that I'm pretty decent here. Yeah, this part just really isn't that hard in the first place. This is one of the easiest parts in the shitty level as well. There's just another case of it's not hard and it still isn't hard. So, and then I'll show you the second one, which is basically the same, except you can actually see the screen in the shitty. I'll probably play through both just because it actually is kind of different. The spam is nerfed, by the way. This is not unnerfed. I did nerf the spam in the shitty variant. Yeah, but this is not really that much harder. And then you get to the frame perfects, but yeah, but everything up until then is very, very manageable in this this part, except for the spam, which I already butchered. You see there, if I was able to see my cube, I'd have been able to time the blue up earlier, and it would have been fine. Yeah, I am going to go play the shitty variant after this, just so you can see. Wow. Yeah, but as you can see, I'm actually pretty consistent here. I'm going to play the shitty just in case you don't believe me that it's consistent, because it is kind of harder to see, so I'm even more consistent here. Yeah, this is just a really, really another easy part that just is basically easy once you learn it. You just have to learn it. As you can see, this is just incredibly consistent. It's just insanely consistent. I'm going to keep playing a little bit more. Yeah, you just learn the click pattern, and then that is pretty much it. There's really not much else to this part. Just learning the click pattern, and then it is just free. So this is a part that is unnerfed, but it's really easy anyway, so I don't see why it really matters. And yes, that is the 7 screenshots right there. So I've discussed everything they've discussed, and the 7 issues that they wanted all nerfed. Either are already nerfed or are already easy, neither of which violate their policies. So yeah, there you go. That's pretty much all I have to say. The thing is, I mean, I don't know. I really don't see how this doesn't get accepted. I really don't. This isn't part of the same level, by the way. There is a wave. It's just something else. But I really just do not see this not getting accepted. I mean, after playing it as much as I have, they mentioned it's like 120 to 135 extended list. I just disagree. And I don't think I found anyone else other than the list who's agreed with that, actually. I don't think a single other person has. Snowy hasn't, Tricky hasn't, Soup hasn't, Bybox hasn't. No one. Literally nobody I've talked to. Not a single person says this level's extended list. No one thinks it's harder than Bloodbath, because it's just not. It's just not. It's not as long or as hard. As playing Low Death, it feels an entirely different level than Low Death. This is nowhere near Low Death, I don't think. I don't think they're very close. I think Low Death is quite far ahead of this. But, yeah, there you go. There's the 7 screenshots. It's these 4 and these 3, and I already talked about them all, so. Or, am I not good at counting? 4, 1, 2, 3. I'm not good at counting. It's 8? Wow. That just shows you how unscripted this is. I literally can't count. I just don't know how to count. Alright, I just don't know how to count. But there's actually 8 things, and all of them are completely fine. I'm sorry if this got a little lengthy, but I really had to go into this in depth. This really isn't like a casual viewing video. This is more of, just like I need to explain this, and this needs to be public. Yes, but these 8 screenshots here, basically, in all their accusations of being unnerfed, pixel nerfed, buffed, whatever, yada yada, it all actually falls under their standards. and is entirely fine anyway because of this, and then there you go, and then this, which it is. It's not harder than Bloodbath. Just I don't know what to say. I just don't think it is. I don't think it's that much harder than a coup, honestly. I think a coup is relatively close to this. I think it's slightly above a coup. I think it's like, I don't even think like it's a difficult. I don't even think it's like a high end beginner or like an easy extreme. It's really not that hard. A lot of the click patterns are awkward. A lot of the click patterns are weird. A lot of it takes a lot of learning. Some sections are really, really funky. It's not an easy level. This part is weird. This part is weird. This part is really weird. This ship is very odd. This takes a lot of getting used to. This entire ball here, all of this. A lot of this level takes a lot of, like this entire screen right here is really awkward at first. Some of these UFO clicks are awkward at first. These are awkward at first. A lot of this level, these clicks are awkward at first. These are awkward. Like, it's a lot of really just getting used to the level. Because the level really rewards you for understanding it. Which is great, because that's how you build consistency. The thing is, the click patterns aren't all as simple as this, right? It's not just click, 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 hit the orbs, you know? Like, this ship is weird, dude. You have to know what to do. You have to understand it. You have to play it a lot. That's why I made a video explaining everything, so that if you don't want to sit here for days and days and days and days and days trying to understand it all, you can just look at the video, and if you don't get a part, you can just learn the part. It's not an uncommon thing for people to want to do when they're playing a level. I very often, when I'm trying to learn something, just will open up the verification and take a look at how they do the click patterns. I just find it to be very nice when you have that explained out for you. That was my logic in making a video on it. It's unlisted in the description of the verification, by the way, and I literally just talk about everything. If you are to complain about something, out of anything, it would be this. This ship is hard. This is hard. This is all hard. This is kind of hard. It's pretty difficult. Like here, like there's a long stretch of difficulty towards the end. This level's very balanced. It probably doesn't dip below difficult insane demon anywhere, except for like the stuff I can't make. Like this, I literally can't buff. Like I just can't. But like this, like those are the two easiest parts of the level, probably. Like my opinion. This is really easy, but this is better easy. Just like this is kind of really annoying when it's not easy. Yeah, but a lot of this level is just hard. Like everything other than those 3 sections has difficulty pretty much. I mean, even you here, you'll die. Like you'll mess up timing. You'll go bam, bam, and you'll hit this because you're hitting like here and you're not hitting this. You still will die. Even like the UFO, you'll sometimes die on the double click here. Sometimes you'll die in these clicks. It's like one of the other easier parts in my opinion. The ship you'll still die at. Sometimes you'll just die weaving. And like things like that. Like things that aren't hard, you'll still die at sometimes. Because it's all just that hard. All of it's hard. There's really nothing that's free. There's really nothing that's just incredibly boring. I mean, the pre-drop is hard, but it's not insane. It's not absurd. You get used to it, I think. Learn this. Put time into this. These are funky. This is a really weird screenshot. Like, there's a lot of things that you just have to play a lot to get good at this level, but it feels insanely rewarding when you do, and insanely satisfying. This is my copy with the gray background still. Husky's is the blue, I'm pretty sure. But if you actually look, I mean, this ending really, it's hard, but it's bearable. It's really bearable. I mean, I understand you saying, oh, this would be hard, but you didn't. Like, if you're going to say something is really hard, you say, oh, like, this is a really difficult stretch. Like, starting here with very high CPS, and a ship with very high CPS, into here, and then you're spamming up here, and then you're spamming through here, or like, you're like buffer clicking all these, and then you're timing all these really quick. Like, that's a really, really difficult section, like, stamina-wise. That is a lot of clicks very quickly, and it's not easy. I understand that. That would be a reasonable complaint. Oh, the stamina necessary for this is difficult. I understand that. I felt that. But you don't say that, because you don't play from here. You don't play from here when you're learning, and then you pass it, and you pass these, and you go through all the clicks, and then you're clicking, clicking, clicking. And you don't get all the really, you don't get tired, and you don't die here when you're tired. And you're like, oh my god, that's such a hard stretch, because it is such a hard stretch. That run is not easy. I did 43 to 100 the day I beat it, the first time, because that run is so difficult. Because of how challenging this is on your hand. This is a very difficult section. You have to be fresh. But that's why the pre-drop is hard, to keep you fresh. Because when you get there, you have a good shot. But you don't always get there often, so you don't tire yourself out. It's all made in a way to where it works. The ending is bearable. It's bearable. I fluked it, so it's definitely manageable. But you probably won't. I'm going to be honest. It's hard. It's really difficult, actually. This ending is not easy at all. These clicks are, but the ship is just not. This is something that if you were to say nerf this, I'd be like, okay, maybe, possibly. Like, I fluked it, it's learnable, but it's hard, right? It's by no means, like, free. Like, see, it still is hard. It's a hard section, but it is doable. Once you begin to understand the clicks, I think I talk about how you do it. I'm going to talk about how you do it again. You basically just want to do all those, and then when you get in here, you want to go down a little bit through here, just like normal ship cruising. When you want to get in here, you want to do one click. You don't want to try to straight fly. You want to let yourself get centered. You want to do one click. You will center again, and you want to wait until you start dipping down, and then you can start straight flying through there. Let me just not mess it up, and now I will, because it is hard. Yeah, but this is just a really hard part. Then you want to start cruising up, and you want to cruise down, but down controlled so you can steady. It's just a really difficult ship section. There's really nothing else I could say here. This is really hard. If you were to complain about this, I'd be like, okay, I understand complaining about this. This is really hard. But honestly, the originals is also really, really fucking hard. So I didn't want to make this free. You know, I already made the clicks before this free. I didn't want to make this incredibly free as well. I wanted to still have some difficulty at the ending. You see, it is manageable. It's very doable. You can beat this. You can fluke this. With a lot of learning, you can do this pretty consistently. I've done this 3, 4, 5 times in a row before. It's not an impossible section. You do get good at it over time. It will take time, though. I promise. I put the time in. I played the level. If you also put the time in and play the level, you'll start to understand these things. The problem is day one, this is what happens. Is you shoot me screenshots of parts that are fine, are either already easy or already nerfed. And you maybe did a practice run, but you didn't look at the original. Like, you line these two up and you're like, the guide, it's barely nerfed. Because it is barely nerfed. Because this is really easy. Play it. Play it, it's easy. Click towards the block, not the spike. The spike will kill you more than the block. Please play it and you'll learn it. I promise. It takes time. It's a hard level. It's not going to be easy. The memory parts will take time to learn. I'm sorry. You have to actually learn the memory parts. You have to actually learn some of the click patterns. It is like a top 5 shitty. Sure. It's a hard level. It's going to take time. It's not something you can look at in a day and gauge instantly. I think you're really overestimating a lot of the sections. I mean, you just think things are unnerfed, and then that instantly means hard. But the thing with Sary Never Clear is it doesn't mean hard, because Sary Never Clear is horribly balanced. It's just a terribly put together level. It's literally a joke of a level. It's literally named Sary Never Clear. It's not good. So then I balanced it, and I made it fun and enjoyable, at least for me, and I think it's pretty fun and enjoyable. But, yeah, I have no clue. I have no clue what else to say. This got incredibly long, but I really can't do this if it's short. If you stuck around to now, and you're on the list team, thank you so much. Actually, thank you so much. You don't even know how much I thank you. This actually means so much that you stayed and listened to all of this. Because it really does. If you have more to say, please tell me. Like, I really think that this level is good. I really do. I personally fucking loved it. So I'm fighting the bias to down to good. I think good is solid. I thought it's literally one of the best levels I've ever played. But I'm a verifier, so obviously going to be biased. So I'm going to chop it down to good. I'll summarize it as good. I think good is fair. Fair is good, good is fair. And that's what's going on. I like the level. It's good. Really not much else to say. But I really do think it should be accepted. As is. Like, as is, I think it's fine. I think everything you complained about here just isn't right. If you're gonna complain about the ship. And if you're gonna complain about the ship, I think even that's just, I mean, maybe it's debatable. It's debatable. It really is debatable. But I mean, you let levels in like Shitty Buy, and let's be honest, that robot. Oh my god, that dual robot. I mean, levels like that, like levels like Shitty Paracosm, like Paroxysm, not Paracosm, like that wave. I beat both of them. Both of the levels I beat, and both have terrible difficulty spikes. Much worse than anything in this. Miles. This has, I can't even imagine. I can't even think of a choke point. Last ship, maybe. I guess. 77, kind of. But it's really the accumulation of your earlier clicks, so I wouldn't say so. Like, you know where you messed up if you're dying at 77, and it's not at the 77 click. It's much before that. You messed up somewhere else in that cube. Like, 70 to 77 is all tied to kill you at 77. If you, like, didn't die and are, like, still going, like, on a bad pattern, you're just gonna die there. But, yeah, this level really just, I don't know. I think it should be accepted, but we'll see. It probably won't. No one will probably watch to hear. But, yeah, I'm just gonna... I mean, seriously, if you have, thank you for this. It really does mean a lot for you to listen to all of my bullshit. But I pray that you actually did play it this far. I really do. But yeah, there you go. That's it. That's all I gotta say, pretty much. Yeah, I don't really got much else. See ya.